Hello and welcome to Jaspers FPS Basic Series Part 1. This will be a short video. Before we start, here is what is covered today and some of what's not. Perspective, positioning, angles, peeker's advantage. What's not covered today: recoil control, aiming, armor. Later parts of the series may cover these topics, but for today, we're assuming you have some FPS fundamentals in order to talk about the nuances of Star Citizen's FPS gameplay. In video games, there is a specific point where your view originates from. This is not exactly in line with your model's eyes. It's from this point that what you can see on your screen is rendered. This is cast out in the form of a ray from the point of origin. This is important for two reasons. One, exposure. If you're hiding behind a wall, but your head is peeking out, not only are you not going to remain hidden, but your opponent can hit the most critical part of you before you even realize. 2. In response. If you can see the top of someone's head, you might assume they can't shoot you, but you may be wrong. In this example, we can see that in spite of the fact that it looks like my gun is aimed at the box, I can still hit my target. We can also see that the box is able to block gunfire, so it's not the box being a special exception. The bullets come out of my point of view, which we can establish with this image is somewhere on my visor in line with the sight of my gun when aimed in. Now, angles. When you're close to an angle, you are often actually at a disadvantage, particularly if you're static or moving slowly. If you look at this footage, you can see that my proximity to the angle obstructs my ability to see, while my opponent can see me clearly and even take shots at me without me even realizing. To show an additional representation of this, here's a light cast simulation. Here, we represent both players as different colored lights. The boxes are the player models, and the center of the box is the point of origin, marked with the X in the circles. We know that your camera renders out from a single point. Anything rendered in white, both players can see, and anything in a particular color can only be seen by that particular color. With that in mind, if I move this blue player far enough away from the angle, we can see that the red player can be seen while the blue player cannot. Finally, peeker's advantage. In online games, when you move somewhere, that information has to be sent to the server and then to the other players. And unless you're playing in a LAN environment, this is going to mean there will be some amount of lag. In this example, we can see that when my opponent pushes around the corner, it takes about a second before I see them, and when they push back the other way, it takes again about a second before they disappear. In game, this means that you have an advantage when you push and a disadvantage when you retreat. This concludes Jaspers FPS Basic Series Part 1. Today we covered your camera and perspective, the effective angles, and peeker's advantage. If you're interested in learning more about FPS gameplay in Star Citizen, you can find me over at the Super Friends Discord, linked below, where we run FPS scrims and training on a regular basis. Ta-ta for now.